this video we're gonna make the ABM installation track our mouse, but before we do that we need to set up a bunch of stuff so that we are not actually this gray orb, but one of those. So to do this we need to start by creating a new folder. Let's call it core, and then in here we're gonna right click and create a new blueprint class, and we have to base it, if you toggle all classes, on game mode. Orbital strike game mode base, select, and let's call it BP orbital strike game mode. And now we double click to open. And this is the regular blueprint editor, but we can ignore everything over here. And we can go here to the right, and as you can see, the default pawn class is set to the default pawn. And we want to change it to our ABM installation. But it's not in this list, because the ABM installation is a generic actor and not a pawn. So we have to change that. So if you go back to the content browser, go to the ABM installation, double click. We click here on class settings, and the parent class is right now set to actor. And when we read the description, it says that the actor is the base class for an object that can be placed or spawned in a level. So this is really generic. And what we need is we want to base it on a pawn. And the pawn reads, pawn is the base class of all actors that can be possessed by players or AI. So this is much better. So I edit it, save, go back to our game mode. And then we go to the default pawn class. Click it open, and now we can search for BP underscore, and we can immediately find it. So now it's set to the ABM installation. And there's one more thing we need to do. Back in the main window, we click on settings and then project settings. And then we go to maps and modes, and we need to select the BP orbital strike game mode we just made. So now when we press play and eject, we should, and we have, the ABM installation. So that means that this one can be deleted, and we can change the player start here. Put it right at the center, because we have fixed the origin properly. And now when we press play and eject, you can see that it is spawned a good ABM installation on this floor. So press stop again and play, and you may have noticed that our camera is in a weird spot because we can't see much, and we're gonna fix that right now. So go back to the ABM installation and click here on add component, and we're gonna add a spring arm. So what this is like a long arm with a camera attached to the end, and I'm just going to attach the camera immediately. We can search camera, easier, and now the camera is attached to this last part. And now when we press play, the camera is in a proper spot, but we're just a little close. So I'll make the spring arm as an option to change the target arm length. I'm going to set it to 15 meters, 1500 centimeters, and press play again. and now we are in a good position, just a little low. So I'll move this up to say, I can't see it anymore, 5 meters sounds good. Play. Yes, this looks like how we want it to. Okay, so now when we are starting the game, the ABM installation is spawned and we can look at it, but nothing is happening with the mouse. So let's fix that right now. Go back to our ABM installation, to the event graph, and this is a new screen for you, and this is basically the code that will be running on certain events. So you have the begin play event, which happens when an actor is placed into the game. Overlap event for when the actor is overlapping with another actor, and I'm just going to remove these, and we are going to use the tick event, which is called every frame. So what we need to do is, when every frame we need to find out where the mouse is pointing, and to do this we need to get the player controller. I'm right clicking, and this is a list of everything I can do, and it's a huge list, and we're gonna go over a couple of these later when we need to. And we're gonna start out by get player controller. And then from the player controller we can drag off, and now we get a list of all the actions we can execute on the player controller. And what we need is we need to go search for convert mouse location to world space. And this gets a world location and a world direction. And the reason for it is when we go to the viewport, our controller, or us, we're actually at this camera looking in that direction. So when we're pointing at the camera, at the screen somewhere, we're actually pointing somewhere in this area. And we have a certain direction we're pointing in relation to the center of the screen. So we need to more or less extend a line from the camera to the where the distance of the ABM installation is. And we need to start by getting the spring arm. And over here on the left, there's the references to components we have created up here. So I'll drag the spring arm into the graph. Now I have a reference to the spring arm. I'm going to get the target arm length. And then we need to multiply the direction by the target arm length. So I'm going to drag off the direction and search for vector times float. So this, well, if you hold your mouse over it, it says what it does. This scales vector A by float B. So this is A and this is B. So now we have taken the direction and extended it for the length of the target arm length. Then I'm going to take the world location and add this together with the extended direction. And now in this return value, there is the exact location in the world we're pointing at. Now we just need to figure out from where, in what direction we need to look towards this point. And to do this, we can take the turret, drag it in, and find its world location. And on this location there is a utility. Drag this up here. which is called find look at rotation, and it takes a start and a target, and it returns the exact rotation we need to take on to look at the target. So I'm going to grab the turret again and drag off of it, and then I'm going to set the world rotation to this new value we just calculated, and I'm going to drag off the tick event to execute this whole block of code every time the tick event happens. So let's save and compile and test it out. And press play, and now you can see when we move the mouse it's actually rotating, but it's not entirely correct. I see that the barrel has a bit of an offset, so let's see what's going on. Go back to our blueprint and to the viewport, and let's click on the barrel, and as you can see the red arrow is pointing that way, and the look at rotation, find look at rotation, uses this forward to determine looking right now and in which direction we should look. So we need to rotate this so that the red arrow is pointing up, and then we need to of course fix this barrel again, put it in the center. It's looking good. Save, and now when we press play you can see it's following the mouse. Very good. This concludes this video, and in the next one we're gonna make the first rockets. See you then.